episode 206, Story of My Life. And obviously, you know most of my life if you've been following, if you have been watching, you know that I've been through hell, high water, everything you could possibly do to break somebody, and I'm here still. Yay. Anyway, I love you guys. Um, but yeah, so this is the story of my life, and I'm talking about the life that I'm living currently. So how I got here. Hmm, where do I begin? I guess it all starts with girl meets boy. No. Honestly, it's got to be because of yeah. Where do I begin? This is hard. Beginning a story is hard, right? Like writing a story is hard at the beginning. Like how do you begin a story? Um, but yeah, just to grasp, just to try to grasp the person's attention. Well, let's see. It all started with like a trip to almost told you where I was. Almost started with, let's say, California. It all started with a move to California. And, or let's say Africa. Africa. It all started with a trip or a move to Africa. So, the reason I guess my mom started one day, she just really had a, like, she was over it. She was over it. My mom was over it. And we were living in Florida, bills were piling up, everything was happening, drowning us, and blah, 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 and all that good stuff. So she decided we're going to take a trip, or she's going to move. She's going to pack up all her stuff and move to Africa. So she moved to Africa. So Africa, um, she up and moved to Africa. Currently was in a relationship that I didn't think that I wanted to pursue more of. So I didn't want to move. Not at first. And then the relationship was starting to fail, so I was like, okay, well, I guess my only option is to move to Africa. So, um, I ended up like breaking up with this person, and then I, I guess it, it, it was kind of like a shift, like a quick shift into like, do I want to go to Africa? No, I really didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to Africa. So I ended up like meeting my current boyfriend. My current boyfriend I knew from high school. So um when I met him, it kind of like brought, and I mean we messed around a lot in high school, so or after high school or whatever. The whole point is that we had history. So when we met again, it's like all the sparks came back. And it was like, it literally was like we fell deep in love with each other. So then I changed my mind about moving to Africa because I didn't want to move if I knew this was going to go somewhere. And he didn't want me to move either. So we decided we're going to pursue this. Might as well move in with each other. So we moved in with each other. Then it was like hard at first. It was easy. Well, easy at first. Very easy. You know, as most relationships are, it's easy at first. Girl meets boy, boy falls in love, girl falls in love. Um, you know, everything is blissful and happy and loving. And then one day you get into an argument. And then that argument turns into the biggest, most heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, like you say some things that you can't take back. You said some things that they'll never forget. You hurt each other real bad. You do silly things. You act crazy, right? Because you're deep in love, and love usually makes you act crazy. So yes, I went crazy because I had been off my medication for a while, because in my previous relationship I didn't need it that much, or somebody convinced me that I didn't need medication, so I stopped taking it. Then this relationship, which was all good relationships teach you something about yourself. So in all actuality, I learned a lot. So in the process, I ended up in the hospital through the hospital, and not because anybody hurt me, but because I was big harm to myself and I was losing my mind. So I ended up in the hospital. I'm pretty sure I told you guys what happened in the hospital, if I recall. Like if you go back and watch my episodes, pretty sure I told you what happened when I ended up in the hospital. But if not, I'll give you a brief breakdown. I saw things unexplainable, totally unexplainable. Like, for instance, this people walking, they were walking in the hall and they were talking about God and God this and God that. And then they said their God can make them do things. So I seen the things they could do. And it was like God made them harbor weapons out of nowhere. God made them put their hands through walls. God made them do a lot of things. So I said, you know, that's great. God made them do all those things. But it dawned on me, it wasn't, God made me see a lot of things that day. A lot of things I got to see and witness. Like, for instance, there was a group of people that were Like, I think it was the KKK or whatever, but like, not really there, but souls or old souls. And I remember seeing like all of them in light, like in this light, and it was weird. Then, um, and then I was able to distinguish because I'm smart, pretty smart. I'd like to think I'm pretty smart, like intelligent, maybe genius. But anyway, um, I foreseen I didn't see I seen this white glowing person going back and forth with the people that were walking, and they were calling it God, but I knew it wasn't God. It was definitely their ancestors. So I knew I could tap into my ancestors. And then my ancestors weren't God, but they were also part of me, but they separated from me. And when I seen them, it was more of like a darker figure. It wasn't all light. It was dark. And I chose to try to fight it. Now I don't know. To this day, do I really understand what I was talking about? Probably not. Probably not. Now, was that dark figure really there? Probably not. Maybe my head was all weird that day and I was asking for medication, but nobody would give me any medication. But I know that whatever that figure was that came out of my body, by the way, it came out of my body. Whatever that dark figure was, I knew that it wasn't a part of me. It was something I had to fight. But like I said, it just felt unnatural. It felt unnatural to have that figure. And that figure wanted to stay attached to me or to somebody. And there happened to be another girl that was in the facility with us. And she was screaming, like bloody murder screaming. You can tell it had a lot to do with me. Because that figure, I kept sending it over to her and saying, I don't want this figure. I don't want it. I don't want this thing. Now, if I was crazy, if I was really insane, I know people would be like, okay, that wasn't real, right? But everybody in the building, in the place, could see what I was seeing. I mean, obviously there's a lot of crazy people there, so maybe they were just imagining what I was imagining too, but no, I don't think so. Even the workers were seeing things that I was seeing. I could hear them talking. And then it was like then I was surrounded by everybody at one point, and they stuck me with a needle. And then I went to sleep. At one point, I had all these thoughts. Everybody that was in there, I had all their voices in my head. And it was like, you know, yeah, I had everybody's voices in my head, and then I ended up like waking up or going to sleep, just going to sleep. Eventually, I went to sleep. And then I woke up feeling brand new, like my regular self. But to tell you, it was a strange experience. It was super strange. And I still can't really pinpoint exactly what was going on. Like, was that Jesus? Was that God that was walking with them? Was that their ancestors? And if their ancestors are all white, why are my ancestors all black? Like a black figure. And if it was a demon, right? Why don't I feel like demonic, you know? Not that I'm asking for that kind of shit, because I'm not. All I'm trying to do is figure out, like, why I didn't, why I was able to see all that, and why I'm not crazy like everybody assumes I am, because I kept telling them I wanted my medication. So I was very aware that I was having an episode and I just wanted my medication. And I kept telling everybody I wanted my medication, but nobody listened to me. So it was very like weird and therapeutic, but whatever. The point is that after I left out of there, I have been on medication since, but that hasn't stopped me from having more episodes. I've had more episodes, worse episodes, where I feel like whatever that dark figure was before took over my body and wanted to make sure I knew that it was present in my body still. But I don't know if it's like a shadow or if it's demonic or if it's like my ancestors, because you can give a name to all these things, but I believe, and this is just my personal belief, is that everybody has darkness in them. Somehow, some way, you caught darkness. It's called trauma. You caught darkness. Some kind of darkness is in you. How you let it control you is up to you. How you let it control you is up to you. I think that you all we all should face our darkness one day. And if we're going to try to face it, we either have to fight it or learn to control it. Maybe use it to our advantage. I don't think, I think it's, if it's a bad thing, I mean, hell, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. I don't have the answer for what it is. If it's here to help us, if it's like I said, it could be your ancestors. It could be your ancestors crying for help. They just latched onto you. But, you know, it could be your ancestors that latched onto you. It could be your shadow self, like everybody says. I mean, it's what you choose to let it be. Yeah, exactly. It could be just, like I said, your shadow self, which is just the stuff that you choose not to show, or parts of you that are hidden but are always there. Like what if all of these people that we think are doing so, like all of these people that are higher up, or that are up, like above us, not above us, not in the sense of like higher than us, but like people that are well off right now, like making more money than us and making lots of money and lots of love, has lots of power. Those people, what if they're getting controlled by their shadow self, in a sense where they don't know that they're being controlled by their shadow and not their light? Maybe the shadow is like good, but parts of it are, it's like confusing. So parts of the shadow part, like you hear a lot about people that are higher up or in power that are instinctively not good. Like for instance, okay, let me use um, Hitler for example. Not to, I'm not saying Hitler's good or whatever. I'm just saying that maybe Hitler was being controlled by his shadow self, and that's the darkness that we all carry inside of us. That type of darkness, that kind of like that, not good, but you think you're doing good, but it's not good because it's counteractive with our light. See, most people probably walk in the light, right? And never, ever, ever want to see that darkness come out of them. But what if that's just in our nature? What if we are in our nature darkness and just ugly? Like I said, I felt the power of my darkness at one point where it was completely overrun by me. And that was at one point when I went to the hospital too. And I went to the hospital again, sorry, again, for like the fifth time or whatever. I went to the hospital again, but this time I went on a stretcher and and restraints because I was fighting people. I was screaming on the top of my lungs, taking something took control of me that didn't want to be held down. I was fighting people. I was asking to get shots that like are supposed to help numb you were not numbing me. Shots that were supposed to, I had like super strength, apparently, according to everybody else, because I currently don't remember what was going on. I get bits and pieces of it, like when I think about it, but I don't remember what was going on. I don't remember the whole scene. They said I kicked people. They said I snatched a cop's gun. Now that doesn't sound like something I would do. I wish it was a seizure, but it wasn't a seizure. I was fully awake. Not saying that you're not awake during a seizure, but it's more like I call them episodes. And this episode was so not like the last. It was it was like like I said, it was like darkness took over me, and it was strong. It was super strong. Yeah. I'm not sure it was a seizure. I can't say if it was a seizure because I was talking. Apparently, I said some things. I called my mother a evil person and kicked her. And then I kicked this lady. They kept giving me shots. Like I'm talking about, they gave me a lot of shots back to back to try to calm me down, and I was not calming down. And then I grabbed guns, I grabbed a taser. I could have seriously hurt people. But it was like, it was like, it sounded, I was speaking in not my tone of voice. It was something like harsh and evil. Like it sounded harsher and evil, and it didn't sound like me, according to everybody else. But I remember before coming, like leading up to that, before leading up to that, I remember vividly what I was doing. I was trying to fight the darkness within my boyfriend, like his family. No idea to say if I won or lost that battle. But I can tell you one thing is that I haven't had those episodes since. But I feel lately as if my brain has been like leaning back towards getting on having another episode. But I've been taking my medication, and I'm making sure I'm taking it every single day. I've put my boyfriend on the task of making sure I take it. So I take it every morning. The thing is that it's always around this time of year for some reason that it starts to get like this, where my brain just starts to act like it's got like super thought, like I think like really vividly and like really deeply, and I be deep in my mind. So all I know is that I'm taking my medication like they suggested I do. I'm talking to my psychiatrist like they suggested I do. All I know is that I'm not gonna let it take control of me. Not, not, not again. And lately I've been having the vivid dreams. Like last night I had a dream that that it was something dark, very dark, was on top of me and I was fighting it, but in slow motion. Like slow motion. I was trying to fight slow motion. But I ended up getting it off of me. So there's that. And hurting it pretty well. See, there's nothing, I don't fear it. I don't fear anything because I know that my soul, my spirit is super strong. Yeah, so anyways, I got really off topic there. We were talking about my story. So anyway, after leaving the hospital, that's after I was a vegan and then I no longer became a vegan. I got out the hospital. Me and my boyfriend were on way better terms than we were before I went in the hospital. Then I I remember it was up and down a lot. And then I ended up getting pregnant. And then I just had like this super like intuition about my whole pregnancy. And my whole pregnancy I was right about everything. Then my babies came. And ever since then, my spirit's been super strong. And it's going to continue to be strong. And ever since I figured out that power that I have within me, I've been trying to harvest it into the spirit world. And like trying to make it so my spirit stays strong. Because I don't want anything, no harm to come to my family. And if that means I have to fight anybody, even the devil himself, I'll do so. not afraid. Not afraid. No, that's not true. I'm afraid. I'm afraid for anybody that tries to come towards me and hurt my family, because I'll make sure they get taken out. I love you guys. Love everybody. But don't cross me. You don't want to cross. You don't want to cross me. Anyways, that's the beautiful story of my beautiful story. Now, how I was going to help women tonight. I know we kind of went over time frame. It's like 30 minutes in to this live. But how I can help women. So, ladies, the only thing I can tell you really is to tap into your intuition, into your feminine stuff. And the way you do that is recognizing that every menstrual cycle is a way for you to further the connection with you and your deeper bond, like make it a deeper bond with you and your body, soul, and mind. So every menstrual cycle, you should be thinking of eliminating stuff that you don't need mentally, spiritually, anything. Like anything needs to go. You need to eliminate that during your menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycles is like a rebirth. So, yeah. So, yeah. Try it. Tell me how it feels. Whatever. I love you guys. Spread love. Think for yourself. Live free. Mwah. Get some good night's sleep, too. Hopefully, you guys get sleep. Or if it's morning for y'all, hopefully you have a great day. Love ya.